Welcome to Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the betting show that makes the squares sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as always, by my BFF, my companion, my compadre, professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing, brother?
Listen, this is why we do the show on Sunday mornings, because so much has changed even since the Thursday show. There are injuries to a lot of the games we discussed. There have been a lot of line moves for a lot of the games we've discussed the entire week, both positively and negatively. So I love that we're getting a chance to review and make decisions after we have full clarity of the entire field. We're going to get into that in a second. First, I want to remind everybody, as many of you know, in the past, in a previous iteration of the show, we've had a totally free to play NFL Pick'em contest. We've given away some big prizes. Because we had to launch Sharper Square so quickly before the season began, we ran out of time to launch the contest. But thanks to our very benevolent sponsors at Hard Rock Bet, we can announce that a free Sharper Square NFL Pick'em contest will be launching very, 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 very soon. We can't give out the official date yet, but stay tuned. We'll have more announcements coming up this week. All right, this is the stripped down, in the room, eavesdropping version of Sharper Square. Simon and I are going to try to nail down our final 5 picks now that, as I've said, we've got injuries, we've got line moves, all that stuff. Simon, are you ready?
Ready, brother.
All right, so starting off, Dallas at Carolina. We've liked Carolina all week. It was at 3.5. It's now down to 3. We're getting it at 3.5 in our contest. The wise guys have liked it. Bryce Young is improving. Carolina's defense is actually improving. Carolina's getting healthier. Dallas still incredibly banged up, coming off of 2 incredibly big, high-profile wins the Cowboys have. I still like the Panthers at plus 3.5.
Yeah, and it's a line that I thought would keep coming down. There's one book at minus 2.5, so that's where I thought it would be Sunday. So I'm honestly shocked it's still in at 3, but for good reason, right? The public loves this Cowboys team. They've been good to them. Carolina is an up and down team. I don't think people fully trust them yet. I don't think people fully come around to what mean you have, which is a ton of love and respect for Bryce Young. You go back and watch, this is not, like we said, this is not a good Carolina team, but he keeps finding a way. He keeps pushing the ball downfield, which is what we wanted to see from him. And in this matchup, we talked about Dak could easily burn us here. But at this number, I feel a lot safer. And even at the plus 3, I still think that's a good number for this Carolina team. I just can see this easily being a shootout. Last team of the ball obviously wins. To me, the bump in this line, I know it sounds crazy. I do think it has to do a lot with the Cowboys kicker, that he is such a weapon. And that's why it's held at this 3, because I do think normally this would be a 2.5 line. So
Yeah.
We've loved it. I would say I loved it more than you, and I think you've come around, especially on Thursday's show.
Totally fair.
This Carolina side, and 3.5. I feel like I knew Sunday we were never going to avoid this one at this number. It's just the Cowboys team, like we keep saying, they have so many injuries. How can they not be overvalued? It's really, Dak is just, he's in the MVP conversation. He should be. It's like what he's done this season with this team is incredible. So, once again, all about the number. Try not to get hyper focused on the quarterbacks here and all the trends that love Dak in this exact spot. I think this is a number that's a little overvalued, and a 3.5 in the contest. I got to take it, brother.
Look, the only thing that is starting to scare me a little bit is there's potential weather and wind impacting the game.
Yeah.
And that could turn it into a much lower scoring game, right? That could change how these teams approach the passing game and see what it'll do to their ability to move the ball downfield. But and look, the Cowboys, Javonte Williams has been great this year, but things trending for Chuba Hubbard to play again. Even then, Rico Dowdle had 200 yards rushing last week.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to be on the side of the Panthers here. Agree. Took me a minute, but I got there. I'm a
No, I didn't think
professional.
about that. You're right. I think we're getting like a crazy nor'eastern, right?
Crazy nor'easter.
So yeah,
Crazy.
that's fair. I honestly
I
didn't
think
think
that
about
might
that
play in
because
our favor.
the totals come down from 50 now to 48.5. So yeah, obviously the money's agreed with you that this weather could affect this game.
All right. Chargers -3.5 now at Miami. This was our brass balls bet of the week when it was Chargers -4. I am not going to feel obligated to put this into the contest because there are other lines that are moving so aggressively that we got to play the best opportunities that
Yeah.
we have when we're putting our favorite five in there. So the fact that it's moved against us, it's at 4.5 in the contest. It's at 3.5 now. There have been some more injuries reported for the Chargers. Quentin Johnston potentially going to be out, if not already ruled out. People were asking me why this was brass balls, and the reason it was brass balls is because we were betting on the road favorite that is getting a preponderance of the bets, but the money is coming in on Miami. So that makes it a ballsy pick because we are definitively against the wise guys. I don't like the way the number has moved against us in terms of putting it in the contest.
I still like them, but I agree. They're probably number 5 or 6 now for me. So I have no issue if they're the last one out. I love this spot for the Chargers, and yeah, that's why it's a brass balls bet. It feels like a very, very small amount of professionals are taking this Chargers team. I think everyone's kind of left them for dead here because of all the injuries. And like we said, this is usually a game where Tua at home performs well, but I still think the Chargers are undervalued here. But I agree. There's other games we can break down.
To be clear, for anyone watching, we still like the Chargers. We're both on the Chargers. If you want to take the Chargers at 3.5, take the Chargers at 3.5. I just don't like the value that we're getting in the contest compared to what the
That's
number
fair.
currently is. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh currently is 6-point favorite. Look, we've been touting the Steelers every show this week. Tuesday, we loved them at 4.5. Thursday, we loved them at 5.5. It's now 6, trending to 6.5. Um, it's going to be a bigger number than what we have been saying people should choose all week. 4.5 in our contest. Lines lock on Wednesday. Reminder to people. I think anyone who is watching right now, you've lost the value on the Steelers. It's most places it's probably trending to 6.5. So you're just not getting the best of the number. But geez, the Steelers rested with just about everybody back. Uh, Still like them. Still like them in the contest for sure.
Yeah, and this is probably once in 7 years of us doing that. We're taking Tomlin over field goal favorite
At
at
home
home. Like
in the
this is
division.
always a fade spot for us. So it must really, really be a good spot if we're taking them in our contest. And we've been preaching all week. It's the number, it's a situation. The trends all point to it as well. Like I read off all those Tomlin trends after the bye week, especially early bye weeks. If you're terrified of it, I get it. People just you have to at least take the Steelers money line here. Like there's no excuse to pass on this one in this spot. So yeah, it's as the Browns go, this would be legendary. If they can go in here and win this
Oh
game
man.
and cover this number, that would be an all timer. Because it just feels like such a horrible spot for them. So going to be a sweat. I have no doubt we will be down 3 heading into half with this Pittsburgh side. That's just how it is when you're taking Tom as a favorite. But like Chad said, we bet it all week. I bet it 4. I bet it 4.5. I've even bet it still this morning. It's 5.5. I bet it again because I'm like Chad. I think it's going to keep going up to 6, 6.5 as the public wakes up here early in the morning. So 4.5 contest. Can't avoid it. Got to put it in, Chad.
Detroit at Kansas City. Kansas City is now a 2.5-point favorite. Simon, this is our Rock and Hard Plays Bet of the Week presented by Hard Rock Bet. The Chiefs are the pro side here. Any bookmaker you talk to is telling you they have huge number of bets coming in on the Detroit Lions. They are by far and away the public side here. And yet, this line, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Like, it has not gotten to 3. This 2.5 seems to be sort of the line of demarcation right now. You and I have both been betting the Chiefs. We've been betting the Chiefs since it was at 1.5, 2.5. It is 1.5 in our contest, which makes me feel very good about taking them. But this is a pros Joe's game. It's probably one of the most pros Joe's game on the board this week.
For sure. And I mean, I can't tell you how many football clips I feel like people are sending me of people in this business trying to figure out why this line is what it is, while also being like, this is the easiest bet of my life, taking Detroit. This is a no-brainer. And we've seen all the time, public wins, they could be proven right, but long-term, very, very, very stupid bet. To think you are smarter than the books and you know more about a line. Well, these people don't even have models. They're just guys whose whole living is throwing shit against the wall and hoping it sticks. When they're the ones that are feeling super confident about Detroit, anyone, if you had any type of read and you were like, well, you guys are overthinking this, you think you're so smart taking this Chiefs team. I know it's small trends, but I gave you all those exact trends of Mahomes in this spot against these type of teams and Spags against these type of teams. So it's a juggernaut. We're standing in front of a really great team here in Detroit. I think we're both banking on a letdown and the fact that they have had a very, very weak schedule up to this point. It's fair to say that. So I'm excited for this one. Like, this is
so excited for this one.
A perfect game for Sunday night. And like you said, you could have maybe talked me out of it, Chad, this morning if it was 2.5 in our contest. At 1.5, this has been locked in for us since Tuesday. Like, this is one of the first bets I put in for us. No brainer. Can't avoid it. We are all in on these home teams. Like, if people are going to see this is a quick trend here. We love the home teams this week, and this is another one where it's a good number, short favorite here. Mahomes. We might get burned here long term for the rest of our lives. This is a smart bet, and you should join us here. I know it's scary. Just trust the numbers, trust the data. This is a good spot. This is a Detroit team that is very talented. This is peak value for them this season, I believe. And I think they're going to quickly see, like, the reason all these people have them power ranked as the number one team, because they haven't played a great team since week one. So I'm going to be interested to see how they do with what we talked about. I think it's going to be a Spags type of game where he takes away the run. It forces Goff to beat them. And that's what I'm so interested to see how this chess match goes, because I just saw something different last week with Mahomes. I think Mahomes is going to get his. I think he'll be able to get the 30 points in this game. Can Goff keep up? Can he get to that number? So, yeah, -1.5. Love the Chiefs here.
Well, look, there's also a lot of injuries for the Lions that really haven't been discussed very much this week, especially in their defensive backfield, but also along their offensive line. Amon-Ra St. Brown was banged up most of the week, didn't practice most of the week. This game is on grass, which is a different track than the Lions have been winning and dominating on for the past few weeks. And as many trends as there are for Mahomes, there are also those trends for the Lions covering in prime time and how good Dan Campbell is. I don't want to discount that, but I still feel like it's what the very first thing you said. People need to understand. Bookmakers don't have models for the lines they set. They eyeball these things. They get some numbers from consultants. The lines get pounded into shape generally by bettors around the world, really. This line has been moving in the Chiefs' direction despite every single bet from the public coming in on the Lions. It's rare that bookmakers take a stand. They've taken a stand and said that they like the Chiefs in this game. So we're going to be with them. Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. It's not just a great sportsbook app. They give you crazy stats. Check out these streaks from Hard Rock Bet Stats Hub. You can find live odds to bet on all of these streaks in the Hard Rock Bet app. KC has won 12 in a row as home favorites. Can they make it 13 against Detroit in prime time? Devon Achane has scored a touchdown in 7 straight home games, and George Pickens has reached the end zone in 5 consecutive Sunday games. Stats like these are just a tap away when you open the Hard Rock Bet app. If you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you get not only your winnings, but $150 in extra bonus bets. Plus, on Hard Rock Bet, you can get a parlay boost for today's games. There's new promos every day. Boost your same game parlay or SGP Max so your bet pays extra winnings. There's new promos every day, so if you're listening to this later, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. All right, I think we've got Carolina 3.5, Pittsburgh 4.5. It's bigger currently, we understand, but we're playing the contest line. Kansas City -1.5. Again, we still like the Chiefs at 2.5. We're playing the contest line. I think we got to talk about Arizona at Indianapolis. We've been talking about it since Sunday. You said last Sunday night, early leans on the Sunday night show. Indy was 4.5. I think that's what I bet it at. We liked it then. It's been slowly creeping up. Now, probability that Kyler Murray isn't going to play. This line has jumped from moving. It was at 6.5, 7. Now it's at 9, 9.5, 9 at Hard Rock, 9.5 other places. In our contest, it's 6.5. I'm not recommending anybody play it at 9.5, but sorry, folks, we got to talk about it. We've liked the Colts all week at a good number. Now it's exploded. How do we not play this?
Yeah, 6.5 would not play it. I mean, it's if you did miss it, even though we talked why you should have taken on Thursday's show, is that Kyler is banged up. He wasn't practicing. They were still 6.5 even on our Thursday show. Did jump up to 7.5, I believe, Friday, then back down. And then once the Schefter tweet came out that has a really high chance of missing, like Chad said, it shot all the way up to 9.5. I don't hate it, obviously, at 9.5, but I obviously much prefer when it was under those key numbers. And it's just a bad spot for Arizona. I gave you those trends about teams that play in 3 straight games that they lost by a field goal. The fourth game, I believe they're 2-8 against the spread, 1-9 straight up. So historically, bad spot. Going back, just teams, they can only take so much, right? Like we said, these are human beings. How do you not just get beaten by this, like beaten down by losing so many close games in a row? Now you've lost your supposed leader, your quarterback, and Jacoby Brissett can maybe win you a game. He's the type of guy, he could steal you a game. He is a vet. He is also a statue that's very limited mobility, doesn't have the best arm. This is just, it feels like to me a locker room guy, like not someone you want starting for you, let alone against a Colts team that just looks like an absolute juggernaut. So could we get burned? Could the Colts finally have a really bad game and we get burned by it? Sure. And they're coming off, a 30, 40-point win against the Raiders last week. But I just think they're rolling. They're such a good team. Arizona feels like the totally opposite. They're just not as well coached in this sense. And, yeah, this is, like we said, all about the number. 6.5, no-brainer. Got to put in the contest.
Got to put in the, it's a number play. All right, so now we got 4 games that we like. We got 3 games that we got to discuss. New England at New Orleans. This is 3.5 for New Orleans. This is your Simon Says. Lots of love, both sides here from professionals. You were taking a stand. I disagree. Doesn't mean we don't have to put it in the contest. The other game, Tennessee at the Raiders. The Raiders are -4. This was Chad's choice. Sometimes we got to do gross things and bet on bad quarterbacks who are a bit of a train wreck like Geno Smith. I feel like I'm kind of dragging you along on this one. So we have those two competing with each other. Then we got the Chicago Bears +4.5 at Washington. And I want to talk about all 3 of them together because the Bears will be healthier than they have been all year. TJ Edwards, the linebacker, is back. Kyler Gordon, defensive back, is back. Austin Booker back at defensive end. Colston Loveland back at tight end. Darnell Wright, right tackle, is back. Terry McLaurin is out for Washington. So we've got a game that you like that I don't in New Orleans, New England. A game that I love that you're mediocre on in the Raiders and Tennessee. And then the Chicago Bears +4.5 at Washington on Monday night.
So, I mean, I can be talked to the Saints because right now, what I'm looking at, I know it's stupid. People shouldn't think this way, but like this is the original 5 I put in for us on whatever that was, Tuesday or Wednesday after our show. I had the Colts, I had Pittsburgh, I had Carolina, I had New Orleans, and I had the Chiefs. So those are 5 home teams, which again, not a big deal. It doesn't really matter.
And by the way, those are 4, other than the Saints, those are the 4 teams we're still on.
And 4 of those picks, so Colts, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Saints, they're all 1 o'clock. So it's also like a thing where it's like, we'll know right away. Are we 0 for 4 for the day? 4-0, whatever it is. We're all in on the 1 o'clock. That's why it's like I'm not as confident as you are in the Vegas one at all. But like I bet it. It is a good spot. Obviously, no Brock Bowers is like a huge negative to me. Like,
Huge.
But the fact that like most books it is Tennessee money, which was shocking to me. There is professional love for Tennessee, and the public for the most part has joined them. But yeah, I don't really have a read on it. I mean, it is tough. Like I love the Bears. I'm with you on it. I don't get why it's still 4.5 at every book.
I
It's
don't
held
either.
there
It's
all
so
week.
it's so weird that this thing has not budged.
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 So that's my
That
hesitation with that one.
that really worries me. I'm not gonna lie, because like this game never should have been 4.5. It should have been 3.
No. So like right now, 2 very public plays we're on. Colts, Pittsburgh. Both are very good numbers. If we want to just go with the professional side, Carolina, Saints, Chiefs, that's basically where we're at with those. Where it's just like we're trusting the number, we're with the pros. It's good numbers, But like my fear is the public has just been getting killed. That's why like I'm a little hesitant this week where it's like they're gonna have their week, the public. They're gonna get their revenge at some point. So still, like I said, still saying still think it's a good number. Can it be our last one out? Like, would I rather have Vegas in there if Chad's feeling really good about it? Got no issue with it. Chicago one, that's a little hesitation for me because it's like I don't know if I can allow us to do it because we both know there's red flags right now with
Red
that
flags.
number. Yeah,
It is
so
the red flag
tough.
boyfriend of all games.
Yeah,
100%. Like it's weird that I never feel confident about the Bears, and I feel confident, and maybe I'm leaning too much
that's tough.
into this is the game where the Bears, get rid of their demons from last year where the trouble started and they cratered after that loss to the Commanders, and they got players coming back. They're off a bye week. I'm all in on Ben and Caleb. Like I'm just so enthusiastic.
So like my view is you supported me on the Chiefs, you supported me on Carolina. I get it. You don't want to support me on the Saints. If you want to go Raiders over Saints,
Raiders.
yeah, I'm okay with it. Even though it's like a spot we normally don't take. I can't get over how insane this line movement's been with this Raiders number. And I know, again, all the pros on the other side. I think I even saw some 3.5s pop with that Tennessee side. So like you could get Raiders at -3.5, which is shocking
totally.
to me. So we're going against it, but like I said, it's I got to pick and choose my battles. You're nice enough to give me these Panthers, which is gross, and the Chiefs, which is gross.
But I don't feel like I'm giving you anything.
Absolutely
Like
gross.
I now love the Panthers, and I've loved the Chiefs all week. So to me, we're compromising really on the Saints and the Patriots, where we just completely disagree.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, I feel like you don't love, but you still bet it, and you can see the value.
Like I said, I bet it, and I completely see your rationale. And like I told you, the trends also point to it being technically a good spot for this Raiders team, which again, I couldn't believe they exist because this Raiders team just seems dreadful in so many ways. But yeah, it's I just locked it in, brother. We got
Ashton Genty game.
Chiefs, Raiders, Panthers, Pittsburgh, Colts.
Our final picks are Carolina +3.5, Steelers -4.5, Colts -6.5, Chiefs -1.5, Raiders -4.5. Don't forget, all these contest lines, sometimes they move. That's why we're taking them. We're playing the market and the numbers and the latest information. Well done. Really good dialogue, Simon. I really appreciate it. This has been Sharper Square, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back on Sharper Square YouTube tonight live, 7:30-ish, to recap all the misery and glory of the day. Probably coming on right after the disgustingness of that Raiders-Titans game. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharper Square. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Also, download us from Spotify, Apple Pod, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe, give us 5 stars, say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Until next time, love you.